Or Outlaw
Yeah.
Run. Okay,
All right, and we're
let's do it.
back. Sorry, I had to quickly. I lost a thing. All right,
All right,
we're moving into what's number 10 now. We
Outlaw
have
Run.
yep, Outlaw Run, the first ground up Woody by RMC. First one to
Actually, that would be a lightning rod, but oh
oh
wait, you want Bill? My bad.
yeah, Silver Dollar City. First one to have wooden coaster to have 3 inversions. Now I've heard also mixed things about this one. Good things at least. Some people put this top 10. Some people put this like near the 11 or the 12. I think, from what I've seen, I've heard it's the roughest of the wooden coasters, which is kind of weird because we're all so used to RMC having buttery smooth coasters. Because of that, and because it's kind of short, but I still think that that first drop and those overbanks through the woods look freaking fantastic. I think that either puts it in low A or high B.
Okay, so Outlaw Run is definitely one of the most polarizing coasters out there for sure. I think because it's it is the first modern wooden coaster to have an inversion, so I think it also deserves an Ace Coaster landmark, or it should eventually get one. But besides that, the inversions look great. It looks like it has a great terrain setting for sure. Not the longest ride out there, but the airtime looks great. The inversions look great. It's got those low to the ground style turns, and it has that double inversion helix finale thing, which also looks really great. So I think this coaster absolutely deserves to be beat just because of how insane it can be, just because of all the terrain interactions in the forest. But yeah, great RMC for sure. Definitely one of the better ones.
Okay, so we got Outlaw Run going in the A tier. There it is. All right. Nope, do not delete that. All right. So we got 4 in the A tier, 3 in the B tier, 2 in the C tier, 1 in the S tier. We're probably gonna have to add another to the A tier right now. This is the third RMC I have ridden. It's a little up north from us. This is Railblazer at California's Great America, one of the 2 Raptor clones to open. So I have ridden this. I'll give my opinions on it. You guys have heard my opinions before. I'll say it again. This is the I think what the epitome of a perfect clone ride should be. It's perfect. I think it's got the speed for the small layout it has. It's compact. It's super intense. The drop is awesome. All of the elements are unique. And the way it interacts with the theming, I think makes this an A tier worthy coaster. It's intense. It has that off-axis airtime hill is oh man, like it's so intense. My one drawback to this, also the pacing is fantastic. The operations, like I think I had never had to wait more than 30 seconds for this thing to get up and running, like out of the station. My one drawback is the shoulder harnesses. They're not as bad as the comfort collars. The comfort collars aren't that bad, but they are a bit rigid at sometimes. But what I think is so incredible about this is that my first ride on this, I got near the back row. My shoulders came out of the collar. That's how strong that airtime is in the back on that off-axis airtime hill. So I'm gonna say it goes an A.
Yeah, I think it absolutely deserves A tier for sure. In my opinion, this probably looks better than Jersey Devil. Not that that's a bad thing because Jersey Devil is also insane, but wait, I mean it's not a bad thing because this coaster is insane. But yeah, this coaster looks absolutely insane from what you told me. Airtime looks that freaking nuts. Operations can kind of be an issue, but then again, like 30-second dispatches or 8-second dispatches, that's absolutely nuts. Pacing probably has some of the best pacing on any coaster in the world for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely worthy of being an A tier coaster. No disagreement.
A tier, let's do it. All right, next up.
And that first drop is absolutely nuts too. I completely forgot.
Yeah, that first drop, I love that first drop. All right, next up. It's Big Daddy. It's the one, the only. People have ranked this the greatest coaster on Earth. And it's at
Cedar Point fanboys.
It's at the one and only Cedar Point. And of course, we're talking about the one, the only, the legendary Steel Vengeance. S tier.
Yep.
S tier. That's all I need to say. We all know this thing is going in S tier. It has one of the great.
It's going in S tier, but
one of the greatest first drops of all time. One of the probably, if not the greatest finale to any coaster ever. The most airtime on any roller coaster on Earth. I think it's a sin to put this any lower.
It's a sin.
Steel Vengeance, oh man, it's the coaster that everybody wants. I want to ride it. I think it looks incredible. It's just the perfect. I think this is the perfect roller coaster. Height, speed, inversions, airtime, intensity. It has it all.
Dang, and you've ridden 9305, and that's commonly seen as one of the best coaster ever.
I think I-305, even if I ride Steel Vengeance, personally, obviously I think Steel Vengeance looks like the better ride. Personally, I-305 will always be my favorite coaster because it was like my first Giga. It was it was like my first big Intamin. It's just that ride will always be my favorite, and it's no matter what you say, that first turnout will always be the most intense roller coaster element than any other coaster. I don't care what you say.
Yep. Honestly, the Batwing's insane, but that element looks absolutely nuts, for sure.
All right, Steel Vengeance, S tier, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna go down south to Kentucky Kingdom. We got Storm Chaser. This one has like gone from mid-tier, kind of the weaker RMCs, to some people putting this in the top 5. Because it had, as we know, it had different wheels. It operated with different wheels in its first season, but it got the new, I forget what material was made of, but it got these new wheels, and people have said with those ones, and with those new wheels, they say that the airtime is godlike. They say that this thing provides amazing airtime. I think it goes, I don't think it's top 5. I think it's definitely top 10, maybe top 7. I think it's better. I think it looks better than Railblazer or Outlaw Run, but I don't think it looks better than Medusa or Hakuge. So I think it goes in A. What do you say?
Yeah, A tier for sure. That barrel roll looks insane. The airtime, it got some crazy airtime hills. The inversions look insane. And who can forget about this famous meme element, the Trip Track Double Up?
Trip Track Double Up. Let's go.
Memes aside, though, it actually looks like a really fun element.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely an A tier coaster. Just so great. And of course, it is the first true RMC steel coaster because the coaster before this ran with steel support. So, yeah, great ride for sure.
All right, my man. This next one, it's our home park. It's the one that gives it your name. It's the one and only. It's Twisted Colossus.
Yep, the coaster that was for like 5 years until I realized that X2 was better, and then I went to Busch Gardens. So, yeah.
It's just it's been called the greatest coaster in California. People have put this in the top 10. I've never seen it less than the top 10. Like, people have always ranked it in the top 10. It's an airtime machine. This thing is like pretty much all about the airtime. It's a long ride. But even minus those 2 lift hills, it's still got long ride. You get to do both tracks. I'm for the green track because that's got that double down, which I think is great, and also has the better high 5. I think it just goes in A. It's just pure brilliance by Alan Schilke. It's a great ride. I love riding this thing every time I go. We both ridden it. Back row is the way to go. It's one of the most unique RMCs out there, and it's awesome. We're so glad to have this at our home park.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with A tier. Nothing more needs to be said. Great ride. Top Gun stall, easily one of my favorite elements on a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, that Top Gun stall, man.
Awesome. Probably my third favorite inversion ever, minus X2's Raven turns and Montu's Batwing, but definitely a great moment. A night ride on this thing is incredible. Who can forget that night ride we had 2 years ago?
Oh, that was
the freaking guys clapping and stuff.
That was the best night ride we've had on that thing. I have great memories of that. That was, oh man, that was just a great ride. This ride, we have a lot of fond memories of this roller coaster. It's it's just it deserves to be in the A tier. It's we hope it stays around for as long as it can. All right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the next one. This will be the next RMC I ride, hopefully this year. It'll be my number 5. It's in South. This is Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia. This one, it kind of got memed a lot when it came out because we had these titans of RMC. We had Railblazer coming out. We had Steel Vengeance. And then we had this thing. We had Twisted Cyclone.
And Twisted Timbers, too. Don't forget about that.
Oh, and Twisted Timbers. We had Twisted Timbers, Railblazer, Steel Vengeance, Twisted Cyclone. Twisted Cyclone definitely looked like... People were ranking this like the weakest RMC even before it came into existence. But then people wrote it. And now it's kind of gotten a change of heart. People like this thing. They say it's intense for its small layout. It packs a lot in. The moments where it does have airtime, it's strong, sustained ejector. They say, and that's what I've heard, they say that wave turn is absolutely nuts. It's the best part of the ride. They say that, I forget what that element's called. I think it's like an inverted Cobra roll or something. An inverted Cobra roll.
Yeah, it's like a Cobra roll. I think it's the first RMC Cobra roll, too. So yeah.
They say that's awesome. I've just heard nothing but good things about this ride. I think it goes, I don't want to put it in A tier because it doesn't have the length, I think, to go in A tier. It's really short. This ride is from live till the brake run is exactly 36 seconds, so not very long. Then again, Railblazer is that length too, but Railblazer does, I think, a lot more. So I think Twisted Cyclone, solid coaster, either number 2 or number 1 at the park, depending if you are more for the floater and longer layout of the floater airtime and the longer layout of Goliath, the B&M Hyper they have there, or if you're something more intense and more ejector filled. I think Twisted Cyclone is a perfect middle of the road RMC. I'm gonna put it. I say B.
Yeah, B tier works. Definitely not the longest ride out there, but it does quite a lot during that time. So I absolutely see this being a B tier coaster for sure. Like first drop grade that Raven that current has looks insane. The Cobra roll looked really nice. Yeah, just a great ride. But Cyclone was really freaking fun for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one that describes it. I think this coaster just looks like fun. All right, the last ride with Twisted in its name. It's the one I missed out when I went to Kings Dominion because it was still under construction. That is Twisted Timbers. Yeah, we all know. That is Twisted Timbers. I think this is either... People have ranked this either in the top 5 or in the top 10. Those 3 camelbacks look freaking fantastic. That barrel roll drop looks awesome. That moment near the end, with that cutback, after the cutback, when you cut, and it looks like you're about to go back to the station, but then you cut back around, and it kind of banks out a bit. That part looks freaking nuts. I hear you get whipped around at that part. So strong ejector. I don't hear there's any floater. I hear it's just all ejector. I think this goes. This is like top A. I don't want to put in an S because again, this coaster opened like the same year as Steel Vengeance, which is as that long sprawling layout. This one's a lot more compacted, which is awesome. But I think if it was longer, it could be an S tier. But with what they have, this is perfect A tier coaster. In my opinion, though, it will never beat out I-305. So I'm gonna say A. What do you think?
So yeah, I don't think it'll ever beat out I-305 like you said, because I-305 looks that freaking good. Funny thing about the length though is that this actually ended up being a slightly longer coaster than its predecessor, Hurler, and it's the only RMC to do that. So it's just a little fun fact in case you didn't know. But yeah, this ride looks insane. The coaster I compare this the most to, probably of the RMCs, is Storm Chaser for sure, because it's got that same barrel roll first drop. The elements look pretty similar in general. The airtime looks pretty similar in terms of how good it is. Those 3 airtime hills in a row look absolutely nuts for sure. Definitely a nice long ride overall. Got some great compact elements. It has that little mean thing at the end where they couldn't completely align the brake run straight, so they had that slight little S-bend into the station.
Yeah.
Which is, but yeah, definitely a great ride. Absolutely belongs in A tier. I personally think Storm Chaser is the better ride in my opinion, just because I think it has, I don't know, just more of a diverse layout, if you will. While this is more of like the same airtime hills over and over again. But both are really similar. Both are absolutely top tier RMC for sure. Definitely
Agreed.
Some of the best rides in their park and some of the best out there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we are now in the top 5. We're approaching the final streak. Number 5 for the last of the top 5. We have Untamed at Wallaby Holland. One of the newest RMCs to open. This thing is only a couple months old. I think this looks like the new best ride at Wallaby Holland for sure. It has the most inversions, I think, of any, if I'm correct, of the most inversions of any of these RMC coasters. I think it has 5, if I'm correct.
It has 4.
Oh, it does have.
Yeah.
It does have 4. So it is not. It does not. It is tied with Steel Vengeance. Okay, I am correct. I'm not correct. Oops. So yeah, Untamed. I almost want to put this thing in S because I've just heard nothing but amazing things about this ride. The drop I hear is amazing. Every element that it goes through does it so gracefully, and it looks just so. It has 14 points of airtime. That's not bad, and I think every single one of them just looks good. I almost want to put it at like the lowest end of S, but if not that, then definitely A. Like beyond, it's kind of like exists in a limbo between S and A. What do you think?
Funny thing as well, this actually turned out to be the first RMC Vekoma Woody, and my friend kept telling me, dude, they should RMC all of Vekoma's Woody coasters, and I said that'll never happen, but here we are, so I was proven wrong on that. But like you said, this honestly is an S-tier coaster, because great pre-left section, probably one of the better ones, because it's got that weird bank turn out of the station. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's got a great first drop. The inversions look super good. Tons of airtime. 14 moments for sure. That's great. Just a great spread out ride in general. Super compact, glossy smooth. I mean, you could say that for all the RMC.
Sorry.
Perfect in general. Just great ride. Absolutely deserves to be in a S tier for sure.
All right.
Just so good.
Yeah, for me, it honestly kind of looks like if Wicked Cyclone's layout got more spread out. That's just me. And so yeah, I think Untamed is going to be at the lower end of the S tier. So you go, Untamed.
Yep.
Speaking of Wicked Cyclone, that's our next one. We have Wicked Cyclone, Six Flags New England. A tier. It's solid A tier. I've heard this thing has kind of moved itself up in the ranks recently. People have it's honestly for me, it's kind of tied with Twisted Colossus. I think Twisted Colossus looks like the better ride, but I think this one matches it in terms of airtime. I think that what Twisted Colossus has over this is duration, and you get to feel more of that airtime. But other than that, I mean, Wicked Cyclone, it looks like an intense little coaster. I shouldn't say little. I mean, it's not that little. It's 109 feet, 55 miles an hour. That's not that little. And that first drop looks freaking awesome. And all of that airtime, smushed into that small package, I can see you getting, whipped around on this thing. So what do you think? A? I think A.
I think A tier, but there is one. And I do think it's probably, the last coaster in A tier. And the reason why is because I actually heard a really bad thing about this coaster, and that is towards the ending of it. When it has that flat back into the station, I heard that it has a lot of really bad safety issues, and you actually don't get a lot of airtime on it. So that I think is probably a big detriment, since it kind of makes it feel like it ends more on a win than a high note. Yeah. But everything else about this coaster looks super great. Good first drop. You definitely get whipped around a lot. Great airtime moments. And yeah, I agree that this coaster absolutely is pretty similar to Twisted Colossus in a lot of ways. I mean, they opened the same year, so I guess it's reasonable that they be compared so much, but I think that Twisted probably is the better ride, but both coasters look really good for sure. Definitely an A-tier ride for sure, but on the lower half of it, just because I think that third lap thing is definitely a big deal.
Mm-hmm. I've also heard this ride is prone to stapling, so...
Oh yeah, stapling for sure. I heard a bunch of really bad horror stories about this ride.
Yeah, they get stapled, but because of the layout itself and all the airtime it provides, I think it's just incredible. All right, we are on to the final three. Number 3, we have, I believe, oh no, it's not the last European coaster to make this list. It is the last wooden coaster to make this list for RMC. That's Wildfire in Kolmarden in Sweden. I debated it with this one even before. Before Steel Vengeance opened, I thought this was like the best looking RMC out there, to be honest. It looks like it has a fantastic first drop. The inversions look great. It uses the terrain so well. And honestly, it just looks freaking fantastic. I think it looks like easily it's the best coaster in Sweden, in my opinion. I think it goes an S. What do you think?
Oh, sorry. My dad wanted me for something, but yeah, I heard you. So yeah, like you said, definitely is great in terms of terrain interactions, and I did hear from some people that it had some pacing issues towards the end of the ride, kind of similar to Wicked Cyclone. But I don't quite understand that, because I've also seen people say that it falls towards the end of the ride, and that it does need to warm up later in the day in order to get the true Wildfire experience. So taking that into consideration, yeah, this ride looks outstanding. Great first drop, great inversions, great terrain interactions. I can only imagine how good a night ride is on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And the ending looks very strong for sure. I don't think it's an S-tier coaster, but I definitely think it's an A-tier for sure. Definitely upper half of A. Easily one of the strongest RMCs for sure.
I'm gonna have to argue. I still think it goes an S, to be honest.
Oh, you said S? Okay.
I think it belongs in the S category. I think lower S. Let's like maybe agree on like the weakest S.
Okay, I can agree with that.
All right. Wildfire just looks like a fantastic. All right. Final 2. We have the last of the Raptor clones. That is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. If I'm correct, this Fiesta Texas is the only park to have 2 RMCs in it.
Well, it's currently the only one with 2, but that's soon gonna change.
That's gonna change. Let's go. I think we don't really have to debate this one. I think it's pretty much the same as Railblazer, so I think we could just put it in A.
Yeah, same as Railblazer.
So it goes in A. We are finally on the last one. It's the last of like the big mega hybrid RMCs, and that is Zadra at Energylandia. I think this is the most recent of the RMCs to open. I think this is probably behind Steel Vengeance and I think it's the second best of the RMCs. It looks like if Goliath became an RMC hybrid and became like twice as, maybe 3 times as good.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate.
It looks, the first drop looks insane, and that overbank into that twisted airtime hill looks, ooh man, looks so freaking awesome. It is on the shorter side, well, not that short compared to Steel Vengeance. This is the taller coaster, I believe. And this was the first ground up hybrid. So, I think we have to put Zadra in S.
Yeah, I think Zadra is S. I don't know about the second best RMC because I think Lightning Rod is probably like really. It's also like right next to it, but actually no. I think this one's probably second. Now that I think about it, because it's so big and the inversions look so good. It's got so many things that Steel Vengeance has. The only thing it's missing is the length. And Steel Vengeance has that length. So yeah, I think it's the second best RMC for sure. It looks so good, and I really want to ride this thing because this and Hyperion looks like it gives apart an outstanding top two for sure. And at the rate they're going with adding roller coasters, it might soon have a top 3 in the future.
Yeah, Abyss.
And I also heard that Speed, which is their Vekoma launch coaster. Oh, wait.
Abyss.
No, wait, it's Formula One. I forgot the name of it, but that also looks really good.
And they're also.
But yeah, Zadra, same coaster for sure.
And they're also adding Abyssus soon, so that'll be a one to add to their lineup. All right. So we have our list. We'll go from C to S. So in C tier, and we'll go in order we think so in order we have. So from C we have New Texas Giant and Joker. We agreed that New Texas Giant was the weakest of the C tier and Joker was the strongest of the C tier. For B tier, we have Twisted Cyclone, Jersey Devil Coaster, Iron Rattler, and Goliath. Did we agree on what was the best and the weakest of the B tier?
I felt like we agreed that. I think we can agree that Jersey Devil and IRAT are definitely top 2 of B tier for sure.
I think Goliath would be the weakest of the B tier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. A tier. This one had the most. We have Hakuge, Iron Gwazi, Medusa Steel, Outlaw Run, Railblazer, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, Storm Chaser, Twisted Colossus, Wicked Cyclone, and Twisted Timbers. I think Iron Gwazi is going to be the best of the A tier.
Yeah, for sure.
And the weakest, I think by default would have to go to Wonder Woman. Railblazer, I think, gets the edge because of that theming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and then finally we have the S tier, the big dogs. We got Lightning Rod, Steel Vengeance, Untamed, Wildfire, and Zadra. So I think we can agree that Steel Vengeance is definitely the best of the S tier. It's the best RMC.
Yeah.
And I think Wildfire was the weakest of the S tier, so that would put it at the number 5. So, in total, our top 5 RMCs in order would be Wildfire, Untamed, Lightning Rod, Zadra, and Steel Vengeance. Everyone, thank you for sticking around for this extra long video that we have. Thank you for joining us. This has been a blast doing this. Check out Twisted Coaster Fans channel. Unless you're watching this on his channel, then come check out my channel, Great North American Thrills. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We had a lot of fun making this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll see you soon in the next video. Peace out.
All right, that's all, folks. See ya.